if you're brand new to Montessori or to Child of the Redwoods and to this community, follow the child is a Montessori creed. And it's almost cliche. We say it so often, what is Montessori about? Oh, we follow the child. But what does that actually mean to follow a child? Well, if we look literally, children, especially very young children in early childhood, they are naturally driven to wander around their world with curiosity, like you mentioned, and discover things. And so if we prohibit our children from doing that, and you can think about how this could happen very easily in think about a daycare situation where children, maybe, a situation where children don't have a lot of room. They're kind of confined in an area, and the teacher or caregiver is like telling them what to do all the time. The child doesn't have that freedom to go out and be curious and look around their world and explore. Then we are preventing the child from doing what it is that is in their deepest nature. So what do we do when we follow the child? We, on a surface level, yes, we literally can follow them around. And this is probably one of the first things that we should do. You can do it with little babies. You can do it with older children too. It probably is like spot on, like you'll get the most illumination if you follow a toddler around. So if you have an older child, but you want to get closer to following that child, go to a playground, find a toddler. And then literally, just like with your eyes, as long as you're not creeping out on any other parents, follow that child around, just observe them. Whenever I have the opportunity to hang out with another homeschooling parent who happens to have a toddler, I just spend like 75% of my time watching the toddler. Why? Because it gets me really close to the true essence of learning about life. It makes me feel more attuned to my own children when I watch a toddler walk and then bend down and then just seriously study something on the ground. I wonder to myself, what is that child seeing on that concrete, that I'm not seeing? What is it down there? What is so curious about this area of land that I just walked right over without even looking at? So literally, by literally following a child and observing children, we can become more mindful human beings ourselves, and that's going to help us to become more receptive to children when they're in a different situation. So Montessori is not just about presenting. A lot of it has to do with that mindfulness piece, really taking it in and asking yourself to open yourself up to that childlike curiosity, that curious part of you that is childlike. And that is a doorway into the Montessori way. So when we raise our children the Montessori way, number one, we are following them literally a lot of times to see what they are curious about. Now, it doesn't mean that we're doing everything that they want, obviously. Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing the raising, right? If children were allowed to do whatever they want without any adult guidance, then they don't end up in great situations all the time, right? There's just danger out in the world, and all kinds of things can happen to children when they're not supervised or when they're not guided by loving adults. So we are essential as a component of the child's environment and a huge influence on our children. But by taking the time to follow our children literally and see what they're curious about, it brings us closer to them, so that when they say no or refuse to do something, or they demand something that is totally unreasonable, we can say, hey, I've been following this child around quite literally. I have a really good sense about what they're curious about and what their needs are. And then I can provide security and love and support and inspiration that center around those needs. But if we don't take the time to observe and follow and open that door of curiosity in our own hearts, then we're not really walking the Montessori path.